Been in therapy, she's remembered a lot, she's worked through a lot, and her therapist suggested coming to see me sort of for a checkup to see how she's doing because I'm the outside consultant and I work with sexual abuse, and she just wants to know if I have any ideas of how they're doing, and I think she's doing fine. So I say, as far as I can tell, you're doing great. You've worked through this, you've moved through a lot, you remembered a lot. She started her own support group for people who've been sexually abused. There was none in her area. It was going well. She was helping other people as well as helping herself. It was great. And she said, yeah, I think you're right. I'm doing pretty well. And we talked about, she said, I feel afraid sometimes, and I feel really scared sometimes. And I said, well, okay. So you got fear, and I told her one of my favorite stories that some of you have heard me speak before have heard. It's called The Room of 1,000 Demons stories. It's a story that I read when I was an adolescent. I used to read these cheap spiritual novels by a guy named P. Lobsang Rampa. It was from here. It was actually a British dentist who got the soul of a Tibetan Lama transplanted into him through a psychic operation. So I used to read these novels, Third Eyes, you can find them around, they're still around, Corgi Press. In each of them they had one good thing. They were cheap novels, but they had one good thing. And this one, I remember the story of The Room of 1,000 Demons. And The Room of 1,000 Demons story was a story about an enlightenment ceremony in Tibet. In Tibet, they'd have this enlightenment ceremony where they have all the students line up, and then the lamas and the the Tibetan Buddhists. And they would, the Dalai Lama, before he was in exile, line up, and this was years ago, and have the pointy hats and things. So they'd line up and they'd say, this is the ceremony to the students who are supposed to go through the ceremony. This is the ceremony of the Room of 1,000 Demons. All you have to do to be enlightened is to walk through this room, come out the other side. If you come out the other side, you're enlightened. Pretty quick ceremony. The only problem, of course, is that the Room of 1,000 Demons has 1,000 demons in it. As soon as you walk in, the door closes behind you, there's no doorknob. You have to walk to the other side of the room, find a way out. So what makes the Room of 1,000 Demons not so easy to walk through is that these 1,000 demons in the room have the ability to take on the form of your worst fears as soon as you walk in the room. So as soon as you walk in the room, you're confronted with your worst fears. You've got a fear of heights. It's like you're standing on the small ledge of a tall building. You've got a fear of spiders. Guess what shows up in your room? Fear of snakes, Indiana Jones, right? Fear of snakes. That's what shows up in the Indiana Jones room. Snakes. So whatever you're afraid, if you're afraid of abandonment, a scene of you being abandoned shows up by the person or people you're afraid of being abandoned by. That's what shows up in your room. So you have to face those fears and somehow get through the room. Many people go into the room, they get paralyzed with fright, just stuck, and they don't get out the other side. We can't come in and get you, that's part of the rules. So you're in your room and you die in there. That's it. There's a different room of 1,000 demons for each person. So, if you want to go home now, no hard feelings. It only happens once every 100 years, so come back around the wheel next time, try it again, get incarnated, whatever. If you want to try it now, we have 2 hints for you. The 2 hints are, number 1, remember when you go into the room that the demons aren't real. What they show you isn't real. They take their images from your own mind. Now, most people came out the other side and said they forgot that. They got caught up in the illusion, the Maya of it. They just forgot. So, most people remember the second thing a lot better. So we have the second hint. Really remember that. The second hint is no matter what you feel, what you think, what you see, what you hear, keep your feet moving. And if you keep your feet moving, you'll eventually get to the other side, find the door, and find the way out. So I told her this story, and she found that very helpful. She said, that's what I've been doing. I've been feeling the fear and keeping my feet moving. So that's very helpful. Thank you. Bye. Boom.